Yep. September 1st. Let's see, 2019. I'm 69 to be 70 in a few months. Here's Mr. Famous Red Tick Coonhound. The ticking is the white and red. That's what ticking means. He's like a coonhound. He's still alive. He got through some surgeries this year, and he was adopted about 4 or 5 years ago. And he's a lovely companion to have in life. And we're out here, you can see, sun's about setting. I'm out here figuring what's next, probably cancer of some kind. I know, that's a happy thought, right? But something's gonna get me. I already have type 2 diabetes pretty bad. Mild depression. Congestive heart failure, atrial fib, and frankly, you know, my last loved one, family member, my mother, who was a U.S. Navy wave, died 20 years ago in New Jersey, so I came up here alone to this empty spot, and well, I haven't gotten close to anybody. That's not my nature, really. You know, last night I was into self-harm stuff, like how I'm going to end it, and geez, I thought I'd go to a cemetery in a small town somewhere in Maine and set myself on fire like at 3 in the morning when nobody was there. You know, where on a concrete bench or something where nobody would, nobody would suffer. They just find some charred remains the next day. And I still have these same self-harming fantasies. I don't do much self-harm. I just run away from people. It's what I've been doing most of my life. I don't deal emotionally with people very well, which is why in Vietnam I was on a guard tower by myself on my first tour, along with the other guys, and along the perimeter and up in the air, vulnerable, and feeling guilty about what I was doing. Because every morning I get off and read the Stars and Stripes newspaper about the anti-war demonstrations, and then the second tour I'm out there as a mail clerk at the end of the orderly room and get to dealing with 150 angry soldiers, some civilians, every day for mail, and somebody put a grenade over the CO's office next to my room, and I don't think it was at me. It wasn't aimed at me, but it was we'd had race riots, and right before we left, up at Camp Eagle, somebody in our battalion shot his first sergeant and commanding officer with a pistol. Maybe they survived because they probably took them a few hundred yards away in a Jeep, maybe, to the, you know, the medical facility there, and so they may have survived. I don't know. They were shocked. And he'd used a pistol. He got illegally because they had, from the time I was there in June of '71, the time I left, they had our M16s locked up in a metal container, and when there were alerts like the sirens are going off like we would run there and pick up our weapons and our ammo and go to our assigned spaces, which me as the mail clerk was over by the commo room. But I don't remember, this happened several times at least, but I don't remember hearing any kind of, the only thing I remember is one day you could hear woof woof, we heard 2 rockets go off from the helicopters out on the, obviously from a helicopter out on the airstrip. And from what I heard, not too long later, 2 guys were loading those rockets into the rocket pod of a helicopter, and they both went off. Electronic failure, maybe the pilot pushed the switch, and they both each had a rocket go through them and shoot them right down the runway with holes in them. But of course, the rockets may not have been armed, so I think that's the last thing they do. So the guys, I'm sure the guys died, but last time, yeah, in the Vietnam War, fucking wars. But I've had a good go of life, just like everybody else. If you get to be 69, you're still alive, man. That's fucking amazing, and I'm not gonna fucking bother to excuse my language. But I'll say if you're looking for peace and quiet, northern Maine is the place for it. And there's my pal over there, Mr. Red Dog. Yes, he is. He's over there screwing around. And I'm trying to force myself to walk more, but that's not going to have anything to do with my upcoming battle with cancer, whenever that's going to be. It's going to happen pretty soon. I'm 69. Cancer, some other kind of crap. That's life. That's the problem of living long. It's my Hindu doctor from India, he used to say, may you lead a long life, but that wasn't a Hindu saying. He said it was just his view, and if you're lucky enough to come back and live a long life, something's gonna fuck you over. You know, there's no way of, as the guy at the door, as Jim Morrison said, nobody gets out of here alive. Of course, he was joking, talking about his concert experience, but he didn't get out of the world alive. He choked on his own vomit from his drug addiction. There's my dog looking. She smells something. So I bothered myself and everybody else enough. Headed back to the truck. No, I'm not planning on setting myself on fire. The Maine Veterans Memorial. But you got to think about how you're going to end things when you're old and have no family or loved ones. And do you want to really be begging for medical care at a VA that really it doesn't care any more about you than the U.S. Army in 1969? You're just another number. No. And this has been another version of, let's see, poor Roger, right? Yeah, poor me. Poor me alone in the woods. Peace. Me and my elderly coonhound are still alive, and anybody that's watching this has got to be totally bored by now. Peace. No more war, maybe. Have a nice day there. Have a peaceful day.